we've got Chris on technical, Neil on insight, and Steve in the driving seat. It's Talking Formula One.
Hello and welcome to Talking Formula One with Steve, Chris, and sometimes Neil. Chris, how you doing?
Yeah, right. The invisible Neil in the...
Will he or will he not join us? There we go. Have you had a good week?
Yes, very good week.
Good, fantastic. It's unfortunately been a week with no Formula One, which is always a disappointing weekend. But it's a disappointing weekend if it depends on how your football team gets on. But
mine, as we all know, it's always a bit of a difficult one. So
there we go. But yeah, this week, of course, we do head to Brazil, which is one of my favourite races on the calendar. It's old school. The circuit is twisting, narrow. It's a brilliant old school track. One of the best ones on the calendar, do you think?
Yeah, I would say so. Definitely. It's one of the 3 or 4 that you'd never want to lose.
I think if it came down to a list of writing sort of 5 circuits down that you'd never want to get rid of on the calendar, it's number 1 for me.
It's always that and sort of Silverstone. They always seem to throw up, good weekends.
It's one of those tracks, isn't it? And the weather, of course, always has a big part to play in it, or usually has a big part to play in it. And it is, I think, it's supposed to be a bit wet this weekend.
Yeah, tomorrow and Saturday is supposed to be donkey.
And it is a sprint as well, so we have double the racing, almost 1.5 times the racing, double the action. So I am thoroughly looking forward to it. And of course, the big talking point is, certainly after Mexico, Lando Norris finally getting back on form. Can he keep it up? Will it be a weekend for Max Verstappen to drag himself back into it again? It's a circuit he goes very well at historically. What are your initial thoughts, your expectations?
Probably a 3-way fight again, I reckon, between the two McLarens and Max. I think Red Bull might be the car to beat this weekend. Come on. So it may well be damage limitation for the McLarens. Mercedes always turn up in Brazil, especially in this era of car. The best races come in Brazil.
George, he's won there in the past, hasn't he? I think it was his
2022. Yeah, 22 when they had that terrible season. They finished a 1-2. But yeah, I think Max will be the one to beat this weekend, if I'm honest. Yeah, so hopefully we get a good fight though, because obviously Charles Leclerc ruined the race in my opinion by holding Lando up. I think Lando was quick enough to definitely challenge Max, if not beat him. So that would have been a decent race. And obviously Lando went off in the distance last week, a few weeks ago at Mexico. So hopefully we get a tight 3-way battle where they all can actually, compete against each other rather than one heading off in the distance.
I hope so. It's a big weekend for Piastri, isn't it? I know we've been saying that a lot particularly since Monza. But this is a weekend for him.
You could say that realistically, he's got to beat Lando, hasn't he? Really. I know it'll be silly to say because he's only a point or 2 ahead of him, Lando at the minute. But just purely on momentum and the way the last 4 races have gone, you kind of got it. It's like Lando was 4 races ago, Baku or Monza, where you think he's got to beat him this weekend. Otherwise, is it a momentum shift too much?
I'd almost go as far as, I know it's only a point, but I'd go as far as to say it's make or break. Because he needs to prove that he is still on the pace and he's still...
He can't afford a DNF and then Lando finish first and second. That's a championship killer in my opinion if that happens.
And it could be a potentially big swing as well because you've not just got the Grand Prix, obviously you've got the sprints as well. If something happens and Verstappen wins both of them, suddenly he's looking over their shoulder, he's right there. And it is the sort of weekend where you would expect Max to do something like that. So it's Brazil, he goes so well there. The weather could play a huge part, and he is so good in the wet. It was back in 2016, he had that unbelievable drive around a very wet Brazil. It's a huge weekend for Piastri. because he never looked like being competitive enough in Kota, and then in Mexico he was so far off Lando's pace. Not to the race, but in quali across the entire weekend, he never looked like posing a threat really.
No, we touched on it. Anyway, it's been a bizarre bizarre month for Piastri. It's very much he's sort of, I don't know, just something's happened, and I don't know, or it's difficult to put your finger on it. Well, it's known and around that he struggles at low grip circuits, which we've had because we've been at circuits that haven't really been raced on. Interlagos should be fine for him. Vegas probably will be a bit of a difficult one because obviously that's low grip with it being a road circuit. So maybe we've just hit the back end of the season where he's got a few circuits he's not particularly a fan of, but this weekend's that's a big one. It's a big one, and the way now Red Bull is setting the car up how Max wants. I've been reliably informed that McKees is listening to Max rather than what people weren't.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Since Mickey's has come in, it looks like a different team. Suddenly, Yuki has those weekends where he'll disappear, but other times you'll think, oh, okay, it's solid. Max has been incredible the second half of the season. And it is a big weekend for Lando as well, because you think how he could be much further ahead had he not had that DNF in Zandvoort and had he not run into the back of Oscar in Canada. He's a point ahead now, but he could be so much further ahead.
He's already, because obviously Oscar's won more races than Lando, but Lando should be arguably 20, 30 points ahead.
Yeah, I'm trying to check that up actually. I'm not sure who's won what. We've had 4 race winners this year? Because it's just the 2 McLarens, the Red Bull, and
7 or 8. I think 7 or 8 Oscars won. I think Lando's won 4 or 5.
Let's have a look. Piastri 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Norris 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 7 to 6. So, but yeah, to be 1 point behind.
I mean, 1 point. He's obviously 1 point ahead, and he should be. If he didn't run in the back of him in Canada, especially, he'd be 20 odd points ahead of him.
Yeah.
Which he's not. It's just more. So, but it's that's kind of like you look at that stat and you're like, well, how did that happen? Because what you'd say about Oscar this year is he's been a model of consistency.
Yeah.
Up until Baku, but
it's incredible. Now look at the standings actually after Lando had that DNF in Zandvoort. Oscar led with 309 points. Lando was second on 275, 34 points back. And Max was third on 205. So Max was done. He was out of it, gone. Not a hope in hell. Up until when he retired in Baku, he'd been on the podium in all but 2 races, Canada and Melbourne.
So that just shows how many points he hasn't won since Baku.
Crazy. Since Baku, where are we? Where was he? So retired in Baku, and then 4th, a 5th, and a 5th. When Lando's got a 3rd, a 2nd, and a 1st, and Verstappen's got a 2nd, a 1st, and a 3rd. So he's gone off the boil majorly. 3 out of 4 races he won between China and Miami. So 4 out of 5, sorry. And it got to a point where everyone's thinking, well, this is it. Verstappen, Piastri's running away with this. It's his championship, particularly after Zandvoort.
Yeah.
And maybe that was what helped Lando, because Lando thought, all right, well, he's so far ahead. The pressure's off. Just race, just drive, do what you do best. And he has.
He's
looked a completely different driver.
He's tried not to overthink things, hasn't he? With taking his lap delta off his dash while he's in qualifying. Just drive naturally. Don't drive to a time. And, believe that you're quick enough to come out the other side. Yeah,
that's it. And it's working very well. And obviously Max was just going under the radar, and suddenly just bang, he's out of it or back into it. Podium every race since Hungary.
Max still needs to win either this weekend or Vegas to set up him to win the world title. He can't not win the next 2 races. I don't think and then be world champion with the last 2 races. I think I think he's probably got to win at least 2 races, possibly 3 if you include the sprint.
Yeah, you've got 2 sprints left, haven't you? Because there's one at Brazil this weekend, and then is it Qatar? I think there's another one as well.
Yeah, I think so.
You've
Yeah,
got 2 sprints, 2 Grand Prix. 2 sprints, 4 Grand Prix. I think George is technically still in this title fight, so we can't count him out of it. You never know. Late Mercedes surge.
Next thing, I think George Russell could well be the party pooper for Max, because Max needs maximum points every weekend, really, and obviously George Russell, like he did in Singapore, they'll turn up with and qualify well, and then it's difficult to overtake, isn't it? So, although I'm more hopeful with Brazil because the way the last corner is and up the hill, you get a better race, and then you come out the S's down to you set better. It's a bit, it's more conducive to overtaking just by the layout of the circuit rather than anywhere else.
I can't wait. I really cannot wait. Such a tasty circuit with such a tasty title fight as well. It's recipe for something special. Talking of something special, there's a team this weekend that teased another taste of livery, and I'm getting very bored of special liveries and one-offs, because it used to be a case where a team would run a one-off livery every now and then, once every couple of seasons. Star Wars or Terminator, remember that on the Broad, maybe, to promote a new film coming out? Or the Wings for Life thing that Red Bull did all those years ago. And now it's just every other race. There's teams that, we're in America, let's run an American-inspired livery. No point to it. But Williams this weekend are running a Gulf-inspired livery, which is... Have you seen it?
Yeah, but why?
Why not? I don't know.
I've said it. I think it's pretty hard to make a Golf livery go wrong, but why Brazil? What's that got to do with it? What's the connection?
No words escape me. If it was Monaco, like McLaren did a few years back when they had Golf, fine. If it was
Monaco is all the glitz and the glamour and all that jazz.
Your home race,
But, they do it in America because it's all marketing and all that jazz. But Brazil was just a bit of a random one, to be fair. I'm not entirely sure what's the point.
No, I have absolutely no idea. I'm not going to argue with it because it's beautiful, that lovely Gulf orange and blue adorning one of the cars, or both of the cars, one of the teams, which is absolutely gorgeous.
Talking of Golf liveries, what really annoys me is that Swansea have a Golf livery away shirt, because I'd love to have one of those.
Wrong team. Haven't seen that.
Go with it, but why Swansea?
Strange. And I saw a video on TikTok a few days ago because I'm youthful and down with the kids. And it was a guy saying that Williams Racing are not going to be on the grid next year. What? And it was a little bit of
clickbait, isn't it?
Very much clickbait, because I kept on watching it, thinking, "Who the hell am I going to support now?" They are obviously they're just changing their name, and they're not going to be known as Williams Racing. So I then thought that they can't be getting rid of the Williams name. No, they're going to go from Williams Racing to Williams F1 team, which is fine.
Was it? They could have done that, and no one probably would have batted an eyelid.
No, even I would not have noticed. But they have changed the logos. They've gone from this sort of upright W they have, and they've gone back to Frank Williams' original. They call it the fast W, the sort of italic-looking W in front of the word, or with the word Williams. It's a nice-looking logo, but you could have just said that, mate. Don't have to shit me up like that. Yes, mate, come on. But they're changing their name for next year, so that's the biggest news I can think of out of Formula One this week, apart from the Golf livery as well. Why Brazil? I don't know, unless the sponsors have just said that we'll give you a ton of money, because in the end, Brazil is a popular race.
Yeah, Yeah, but I don't get where the Gulf connection for Brazil comes in either. I mean,
is it a Brazilian company? I don't think so.
No,
it's
Williams this weekend with Mr. Science Junior being ill. Is there a possibility that old Valtteri might well be in the car?
Is he ill?
Yeah, Science missed media duty today.
Oh dear, did not know that.
Yeah, for illness. So I'm pretty sure Bottas is the reserve driver, isn't he? I think
he is. He's the reserve driver for, is it them and for Aston and Mercedes or something?
McLaren, Mercedes, and Williams. I think he's
that's it. Oh, because Drogovic is at Aston, isn't
he? Yeah, I think he's the reserve for them three.
What happens if both are ill? If they've got two drivers out of different teams. Well, there you go. It'll be interesting to see. Also, back in the grid next year with Karun Chandok. Yes, that's a P20 right there. But no, it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully, Carlos is fit and fighting for the race tomorrow, or for the weekend. Sorry, and for practice duties and things tomorrow. I hadn't heard about that, but there you go. I don't know. As I said before, I'm looking forward to Brazil. I love it. It's such a fantastic race, and Ferrari do tend to go quite well at Brazil as well. So could we see Ferrari in the mix, or are they going to do what they normally do and sort of do okay in quali, but then drop back?
I think sprint weekends actually play into Ferrari's hands a little bit because they can sprint qualify with the car slammed on the floor, and then obviously the sprint race they can also run it low. Because then it goes, because it's not in part firme, is it, until it goes out in qualifying. So they can then assess the wear rate, and obviously they raise the car up, don't they, and go a bit slower. So I think actually the sprint they may well actually be pretty competitive because they can run the car lower than what they would normally. Yeah. But for the race, I can't see more than them floundering around in midfield, mid top 10. If I'm honest.
What a shame. Of course, their best result of the season did come in a sprint race, didn't it? Lewis taking the win back in China before they were disqualified from the Grand Prix.
That was the thing. Exactly what happened. They ran the car, but then they didn't lift the car high enough because they didn't think their air rate would be that much.
No, but it's frustrating because you get to this point of the season where you've got three drivers who are so closely matched for the title. We need extra teams and extra drivers up there to sort of dip their toe in, and muck it around a little bit, get in the way, cause a bit.
Vitaly Petrov to sit in front, and kill someone, kills two drivers' world championship dream.
I'm still not over that. Bloody Petrov. I really wanted, because I loved Webber and Alonso watching Formula One growing up in the noughties and sort of 2010s. And to think I've got, because it was Hamilton. Who's in this? You had Vettel, Webber, Alonso. I think one or two of the McLarens who could still win that title. And I thought, all right, if Jensen could still win it, great. But I've still got Fernando and Mark Webber who could win this. Brilliant. And then they both got screwed.
I like the fact it was the old point system then, wasn't it? It was still the old point system. And Seb Vettel went in there fourth and won the world title. That's how bad. That's how bad the strategies were.
Yeah,
that they lost so many points when 10 minutes.
He got absolutely shot, and he was fuming, wasn't he? I was gutted for Fernando and for Mark, but I still maintain that if he hadn't crashed in Korea, he probably would have won that title. I remember watching that, heartbroken. But yeah, there you go. Now we need other teams in there to be mucking it around. Every now and then you get a team pop up there, like Williams will be up there in sort of 5th, 6th. We've had Haas up there, RB up there. One thing I have enjoyed about this season is we've had podiums from midfield teams, which we haven't had in so long. And it's not just like a one podium thing. You've had an RB, you've had a Williams, and you've had a Sauber on the podium this year at one point, and we almost had a Haas as well. That would have been incredible.
It's quite interesting. It's weird, isn't it? Considering you think the McLaren was such a dominant car. That most weekends that only left one podium spot.
Yeah, and it would usually be filled by either a Red Bull, the Red Bull, a Red Bull. It's only ever going to be one, isn't it? One of a Mercedes or a Ferrari. But you've had Williams popping up in there, RB, Sauber, brilliant. But you need that's this weekend screams of somehow a double Alpine podium again, doesn't it? What the hell? I was so annoyed with them last year because they were fighting with Williams, and that knocked Williams down a peg in the title in the championship. Terrible, but they ain't getting them this year. 5th, baby, let's go. But we need a Mercedes up there, which we do, and we have had with Russell a fair amount this season. He's won a couple of races. I know one was back in Austria, wasn't it, where Lando and Max came to blows as such. No, that was last year, wasn't it? Am I going into that? Was last year when Russell won in Austria. Yeah, Lando won it in this year. I don't know why I was thinking that was this year. That was last year where Norris and Verstappen hit each other.
Yeah.
All the seasons are blurring into one now. We're watching Formula One too long. No, we need someone like Charles Leclerc up there. We need someone like Hamilton, like Russell, sort of sticking the toe in. And, it's not just going to be a walkover 1, 2, 3 for these drivers. We need someone else up there, playing a big part in it, which we have had from time to time. Like you say, in Austin, Charles Leclerc was holding up Lando for a long time. Part of that was on Lando, though, because you can't ever get the feeling that if that was Max behind Charles, he'd have been long gone.
Yeah, 100%.
But there we go. Metal Jace, good evening. Welcome in. Hi, it'll be interesting to see how Bortoleto does its home race. Of course, yeah. We have a Brazilian on the grid for the Brazilian Grand Prix for the first time since Barrichello, I want to say.
When Massa quit in 2017?
Oh, yeah, Massa, yeah. 2016, for the first time since 2017.
2008 world champion.
Is that still going on? Is he still trying that?
I think the verdict, it's a pre-trial, isn't it? So the verdict is tomorrow whether it goes to trial.
My God, it's obviously not, because we
take it to a trial or not.
We've spoken about this so many times before on the pod. If the result for 2008 goes to trial, then you're going to have to look at 2021. You're going to have to look at probably most results back to 1950.
Yeah.
Suddenly Sterling Moss could be a 2-time world champion or something, which would be awesome. He would deserve it. But imagine just get all these world champions come out of nowhere. Coulthard won it. Nice. Excellent. Jacques Villeneuve didn't get it.
Mark Webber will come out and say, I'm 2010 world champion because they shouldn't have pitted me at that time.
Yeah. Shouldn't have pitted me, and I hit a puddle on that wet circuit, which was health and safety, so I want that race withdrawn, please.
Yeah, the career race, yeah. Null it.
Yeah, null and void, thank you. Yeah,
every race, null and void it.
Yeah. Mark Webber, 5-star world champion. Yeah. Bortoleto, yeah, I'm intrigued to see how he does this weekend. Obviously, the home support there will be good for him.
It's been quiet in the last few races, hasn't he?
He has. He went on a bit of a run, didn't he? Sort of towards the end of the sort of European season.
I think all the rookies have. Hadjar's fallen off a little bit. Lawson never started. Colapinto, you could argue, has actually improved. I mean, I've been reading rumours that he's pretty much guaranteed the seat for the start of next year.
Which is
a bit of a turnaround because 5-6 races ago you were talking about whether he made the end of the season, let alone next season. So.
No, I hope he is, because I do like Colapinto. He did well. He's done well sort of over the last few races, definitely. There's only so much he can realistically do when his car is an absolute wheelie bin. Alpine haven't scored since Belgium, which, it's Pierre Gasly's on 20 points for the season. Pierre Gasly's a race winner. He's a good driver, and he's stuck driving that absolute S-box of a car.
I get the feeling they must have abandoned that car a long time ago.
I think they abandoned it around Melbourne.
Well, considering that they decided halfway through this season they're going to have to redesign their whole chassis next year, just purely because it's been built around the Renault engine, and then they decided it's actually going to be built for a Mercedes engine and a Mercedes gearbox. Yeah. So. That's not just a simple, we'll just swap the engine. That's, quite a momentous thing to change because the whole housing is going to have to be changed.
Yeah, it's not an easy job, is it? I think Alpine will be stronger next year. We'll have to do a nice little sort of season preview going into next year, which will be around before we know it as well, because we're already in November, and this season only started a few weeks ago, it feels like.
The two private tests are in January, aren't they? So
yeah. Looking at it, Colapinto has done well the past few races. I hope he does get it for next season. I really do. And Bortoletto, I think, has done really well. He scored points in, 4 out of 6 races between Austria and Italy. So he went on a bit of a... It was weird because Sauber went on a sort of a strange period where they were competitive again. Like, Hulkenberg got a podium and Bortoletto was scoring loads of points. And now they've just gone off a cliff again. They've obviously shifted development to the Audi project for next year. RB, since Hadjar's podium, have been really quiet. Although Lawson did get a really good 5th. Was it Baku or Monza? Finished 5th.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a strange one because all these teams that were, have had decent moments have just gone off a cliff, really. The only one that's quite consistent is Williams, I'd say, still. Certainly of the midfield pack, even though apparently they have shifted everything to next year.
Oh yeah, I can't really put your finger on it unless it's obviously Red Bull made a step forward. I don't think Ferrari particularly have. So Mercedes, don't know. Maybe it's track specifics.
Yeah, possibly. But Ferrari have been very much mediocre all season. Charles Leclerc has been doing well the past few races. A couple of podiums in there. Lewis possibly should have got his first Ferrari podium last time out, but for obvious reasons didn't. I'm confident that he will still get a podium for the end of the year. I don't know when it's coming.
This weekend, as much as I've said that I don't think Ferrari are going to be very competitive, a wet race could easily throw that up,
Yeah, and it's another circuit he's strong at. Yeah, he does go well at Brazil. But no, going back to MotoGP's support with Bortoletto, I can't wait to see it because it's been a lot of years since we've had a Brazilian driver on the grid. And the Brazilian fans are probably some of the most passionate ones I think we see on the grid or see on the calendar. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing it. But hopefully he'll have the car to really deliver. Because remember when the Chinese fans went absolutely crazy for Zhou.
No, he was
right at the back. But that support didn't fade, and I like that. So hopefully it'll be the same for Bortoletto, carrying a lot of national pride, I suppose, on his shoulders there for Formula One with those who have come before him. But there we go. We've got just under a couple of minutes left to go. So let's have your top 3. Okay, so top 3 for the sprint, first of all. Third to first.
Sprint. Well, Max Verstappen's won all but 3 sprints, I think it is. I think I'm going to go Max to win, Lando second, Charlie Leclerc third.
Solid. Another poor sprint for Piastri. And the Grand Prix?
Lando to win, Max and Oscar.
Very good. So Oscar does recover for a podium. Sprint-wise, I think I'll go Oscar third, Max second, Lando win. Grand Prix-wise, I think I'm going to say Lewis third. I'm confident that with the weather potentially and the sort of circuit. Oscar second and Lando first. I'm going to say there's something unfortunate befalls Max Verstappen, be it a rare Red Bull mechanical issue. Has he had any of those actually this year? I don't think he has he?
I think the only mechanical issue he's had since 2020, I think, is the brake failure in Australia. That's it. I generally can't remember the last. That's the only that mechanical failure he's had, I think, for 5-6 years.
Oh, he retired in Austria. Was that a failure? Was that a mechanical failure? Can't remember. But I think something evil is going to befall him this weekend, be it a rare failure or if he tries something a bit audacious and he gets caught up in a move. I heard a crazy stat, though, that says that he either finishes in the points or he just doesn't finish a race. Which the last time he... Really? Wow. The last time he actually finished a race not in the points...
2018.
correct, would have been where are we? Well, he was classified 15th in Silverstone, 2018. The last time he finished a race out of the points, which is he didn't apparently he didn't finish that, but he was classified as he completed more of the race distance. Oh right, okay, fine. In that case, you probably could go back to his
20,
16th in Abu Dhabi 2015. So he literally finishes in the points, or just doesn't finish. You'll never see him 11th. That is a mental stat. Bloody hell. Well, there we go. So I don't think he's going to. I don't think he'll finish out the points. It's going to be a retirement, or he'll finish lower down in the points. But there we go. But well, that brings us to the end of our F1 show this week. So thank you very, very much for watching. We shall see you next week, of course, post Brazil, which who knows? The World Championship could have been blown further open, or it could have just got a hell of a lot closer. I'm intrigued to see it. So have a great week. Enjoy the race. We shall see you next week. So take care. I am Steve. He is Chris. Neil is on planet Earth somewhere. We shall hope to be reunited next week. Cheers.